Hello, I'm Cameron from Gale Force 9 Games, continuing our How to Play series for Doctor Who, Time of the Daleks. Today we are covering the third phase of the player turn, the adventure phase. This is the phase where you can recruit new companions for your adventure, as well as resolving the current dilemma. First, you can recruit a companion if you have an empty slot on your TARDIS console. To do this, you need to either discard a timey-wimey card from your hand or spend a sonic charge token. If your Doctor is currently on Earth, then you can draw from the Earth companion deck. Otherwise, draw from the Alien companion deck. The exception is if you are currently in a time anomaly. Then you can recruit from either one, your choice. If you have a link to a specific companion, like the 11th Doctor and Amy Pond, then you can search the deck for that specific companion to recruit. You still need to be in the right location, however, in this case, Earth. Some locations and dilemmas may have a link as well. For example, Clara's apartment is, obviously, linked with Clara Oswald. You can search either deck for a companion that has been linked by a location or dilemma. Recruiting companions doesn't immediately add them to your team. Initially, new recruits start as part-time companions, and will only become full-time after you succeed in the adventure. Leave a gap to show the recruit is still part-time. Now, it's time to attempt to resolve the dilemma itself. In this case, Silurians in the moon's past. The combined set of symbols are the challenge you need to pass for this adventure. To pass this specific challenge, the player needs to roll a science symbol, a cunning symbol, a strength symbol, and 2 diplomacy symbols. The colours on the symbols give you guidance on which coloured dice are most likely to roll the required symbols. Though, as long as you end up with the right symbol, it doesn't matter what colour of dice you end up using. First, you need to create your own dice pool by gathering your starting dice, and then any dice from equipment or companions, before discarding any excess dice that don't fit the dice pool for this dilemma. In this example, the player gets 4 black story dice, 1 blue die from the 11th Doctor, 1 additional black die from the Fez, 1 green die from Amy, 1 blue die from Rory, and 1 red from Captain Jack. This brings us to 9 dice, so the player chooses to leave a black die behind as an excess dice. You can always play any timey-wimey cards to get more dice, or exchange some here as well. Be careful though, the dice pool is limited to a maximum of 3 of each of the coloured dice, though there isn't a limit on the number of black dice you can have. You can also use the dice focus from companions to change dice of the pictured colour for a black die. For example, a player might use Amy's focus to change either a green or red die to a black die. Once you've picked your dice pool, then it's time to check for any Daleks. If you are at a location with a Dalek marker in either time zone, then that Dalek exterminates one of the dice from your dice pool of your choosing, with multiple Daleks exterminating multiple dice. The only exception is if the Doctor is on Earth, then only the Daleks in the current time zone count against the player. Finally, the player can roll the dice, trying to match the symbols. If your initial roll doesn't succeed, then you can try using abilities to manipulate or re-roll the dice. Some Doctors, companions, or timey-wimey cards may allow you to re-roll dice, such as Captain Jack's ability to re-roll all red die, while others, such as Clara Oswald, may only be able to re-roll 1. Each one of these can just be used once per adventure. And you can also use 2 sonic charge tokens to re-roll any 1 dice, limited only by the number of sonic tokens you have to spend. You can also discard any black die, reducing the size of your dice pool in the process, to re-roll all the dice. This is also the only way to re-roll dice at a fixed point time anomaly, or dilemma, like the impossible astronaut. Once you've done all the re-rolling you can or want to do, then you still have some ways to change the dice, either using sonic charge tokens or abilities. You can spend 3 sonic charge tokens to change the facing on any 1 die to a symbol you want, while some doctors, companions, or timey-wimey cards might have a dice change icon, such as Amy Pond. In her case, it allows the player to change any green die to be facing the diplomacy symbol. These abilities can only be used once per adventure. However, if a dilemma is time-locked, like the teller, then you are not able to change dice facings at all. If you manage to match all the symbols, then congratulations, you've succeeded the adventure. You can now discard the dilemma, gain the rewards from the time zone, in this case moving the TARDIS forward 3 spaces and gaining a sonic charge token. You can also remove one Dalek marker if there is one on the location, or the same time zone if the dilemma was on Earth. And finally, all part-time companions get promoted to full-time. However, if you fail to match all the symbols, then you have failed the dilemma. All part-time companions are dismissed back to the companion decks. One Dalek marker is added to the location, or time zone if on Earth, and the failure actions from the dilemma take place. In this case, you must discard 2 timey-wimey cards and move the Dalek ship forward 2 spaces. Some failures may require you to discard a companion, where that companion is removed to a discard pile, or to dismiss a companion, where they are shuffled back into their respective deck. The 6th Dalek marker is Davros, creator of the Daleks. If you ever have to place a 7th Dalek token, then the time of the Daleks has arrived, and the game's lost. Success or failure, at the end of the adventure you still have a few more actions to take. Discard any locations, other than Earth, that don't have either a Doctor or Dalek token on them. Draw a new dilemma tile for any empty slots on Earth. Discard your hand down to 4 timey-wimey cards. And finally, pass the TARDIS dice to the next player. And that's it for this How to Play video. Thanks for watching, and Doctor Who Time of the Daleks and its expansions are available to order now with the link in the description below. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook for all the latest GF9 news and updates.